So last night, the New Jersey Devils came out and pulled off a very big upset, in some people's opinion, against the New York Rangers in Game 7. Now, the New York Rangers were heavily favored in this series for a lot of reasons. They made some really big acquisitions over the trade deadline, and their roster through and through is pretty much a lot better than the Devils. You think about some of the players that they have on this team and how they kind of just no-showed against the Devils, and this kind of puts you into a perspective where you think about what's the future for the New York Rangers, and is it going to be a bright one considering all of the stuff that happened? There's been a lot of rumbling about firing their head coach. There's been a lot of talk about who they're going to sign in the offseason, who they should get rid of, and what this team's going to look like coming into 2023-24. Now, a couple disappointments for me coming into this playoff series was definitely Artemi Panarin. Now, Panarin is one of the top paid players in this league, and for some reason, he just no-shows when it comes to the playoffs. In this series, he only rocked 2 assists. 2 assists for a guy who plays out of his mind for most of the regular season and usually is doing a lot more on the ice. Now, this is the biggest thing that happened in this series. You had a hot goalie for the Devils. Schmid came out, played out of his mind, posting a couple shutouts. I think he only had 1 loss in the series, which it speaks a lot to how deep the Devils team really is. And maybe it's just more about their youth and their inexperience and how they're just kind of playing with house money at this point. But focusing on the Rangers again for a second, Igor Shesterkin, you deserve better. Stick taps for my guy here. This guy played like he was still a Vezina caliber goalie. And there's been a lot of rumbling about him over the offseason as well and what he was going to do coming into this season that just passed. And I think if you're looking at one Rangers player who deserved a little bit more going into the summer, I would say it's Igor Shesterkin. Even in this series where the Devils basically controlled the last 5 games, I would say, maybe outside of Game 6, Igor Shesterkin still stood on his head. He made saves and even challenged the entire roster by running up to the bench and yelling at them after making a big-time save. I mean, if you have your goalie playing like that, you need to step up your level of play and give him the assistance and help that he is basically begging for you on the bench. I mean, New York, you got the Knicks in the playoffs, but yet the Rangers are just completely flat. The expectations that were going in for this team was just crazy. And now looking into the offseason, what do Rangers fans want from this team? Do you want them to re-sign Patrick Kane? Do you want them to pick up another extension for Tarasenko? Do you want them to stick with the core group that they have or make some adjustments because this clearly isn't working for the team? Or is this more of a coaching issue? Do we think they need to change out their head coach or maybe some of the other pieces around them? Because goaltending is clearly not the problem. It isn't. And the defense is a little bit shaky as well. Do you continue with that top-heavy forward kind of style of play where it's all about offense and basically give up from the defensive end outside of Fox and maybe Trouba, who I think is more just a hitting machine and really doesn't make much of an impact outside of that? Now, just watching the Rangers in this series, I'm a little bit disappointed. I mean, as a Bruins fan, you guys know that they just lost to the Panthers, so it's a little bit like weird to see the Rangers go through the same experience. And I was really rooting for the Rangers because I have a different perspective on that team, and I love some of the old-time players like Kane and Tarasenko. But man, was this a disappointment. Rangers fans, let me know what you think about this in the comments. I got to know where you guys want to see this team going in the offseason. Do you want a coaching change? Do you want a couple players re-signed? The cap is not looking too great and on their side, so not everybody's getting to play again with this team. It's sort of like the Bruins. This was your year, and now where do you go moving forward? Make sure you guys subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'll be talking about the playoffs for the remainder of this year, and then we'll go into off-season topics as well. But thank you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe and like button. I'll see you guys next time.